Right now, all across the country, people are doing everything they can to save their lawns from the summer heat. They're watering it, feeding it, mowing it, babying it. And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most of that effort is exactly what's killing it. The number one reason lawns die in a heat wave isn't the heat, it's the homeowner trying to help. Every summer, millions of people look out at a struggling, browning lawn, panic a little, and then go do the exact thing that finishes it off. And they have no idea they're doing it. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 things you should never do to your lawn once the temperatures spike. Every single one of them is something your neighbors are probably doing this week, right now, convinced they're helping. Number 4 is the one almost nobody gets right, and number 5 can brown an entire lawn literally overnight. And here's the best part. Fixing all of this costs you nothing. No fancy products, no lawn service, no $100 bags of miracle powder. In most cases, you just stop doing the wrong thing. So before you drag the hose out or fire up the mower this weekend, stick with me, because this could save your whole yard. Real quick before we get into it, this whole channel is built on one idea. Your lawn does not need expensive products. It needs the right information. No sponsors, no affiliate links, nobody paying me to push some bottle. Just the cheap stuff that actually works. If that's what you're here for, do me a favor and hit subscribe and tap the like button. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. Alright, let's get into the 5 things you should never do to your lawn in a heat wave. Number 1, never water your lawn in the middle of the day. This is the big one, and it's the one I see the most. I'll drive through a neighborhood at 2 in the afternoon, 90-something degrees out, blazing sun, and there are sprinklers going full blast on half the lawns on the street. And every time, I just think that's money and water going straight down the drain. Because here's what's actually happening when you water in the heat of the day. The sun and the high temperature evaporate most of that water before it ever soaks in. It lifts right off the grass blades and off the soil surface and disappears into the air. So the water never makes it down to the root zone, which is the one place the grass actually needs it. You're basically paying to humidify your backyard. And it gets worse, because a lot of that water that does cling to the blades in full sun can act like tiny magnifying glasses and actually stress the grass more. So you're not just wasting water, you might be adding to the problem. Now, if you're on a well, at least it's not costing you a fortune on the water bill. But if you're on city water, watering midday in July is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make, and you're not even helping the lawn. So here's what to do instead, and it's completely free. Water early in the morning. I'm talking before the sun really gets going. Somewhere between about 4 and 9 in the morning is the sweet spot. At that time, it's cool. There's no harsh sun, so almost all of that water soaks down deep to the roots where it belongs. Morning is also better than evening for one important reason. It gives the grass blades a chance to dry out during the day, which helps you avoid lawn disease and fungus. If mornings just aren't possible for your schedule, evening is your backup. And honestly, evening is way better than midday. Just know that watering at night leaves the grass wet for hours in the dark, and that can invite fungus, so morning wins if you can swing it. And one more free upgrade while we're here. Water deep and infrequent, not a little bit every day. A good long soak a couple times a week trains the roots to grow deep, chasing that water down into the soil. Deep roots are what get a lawn through a heat wave alive. Watering a tiny bit every single day does the opposite. It keeps the roots shallow and lazy right near the surface, which is the worst possible place to be when it's baking hot. Want to know how much you're actually putting down? Set an empty tuna can on the lawn while the sprinkler runs. When it's got about an inch of water in it, you're done. That's it. That's the whole trick. Number 2, never assume your brown grass is dead, and whatever you do, don't dump black dirt on it. This one catches so many people because it goes against your gut. When your lawn turns brown or tan or straw colored, in the summer heat, your instinct screams that it's dying, and you have to do something. But listen to me carefully, because this is the part most people get wrong. Brown grass in the middle of summer is usually not dead. It's dormant. There's a huge difference. Dormancy is survival mode. When it gets brutally hot and dry, cool season grass basically shuts itself down on purpose to conserve energy. It stops putting resources into staying green and instead protects the crown, the living part down at the base of the plant. It looks dead, but it's very much alive, just sleeping. And the moment the temperatures drop and it gets a good drink of water, it wakes back up and greens up again like nothing happened. Your lawn is smarter than you think. Now here's the mistake. I've watched people see those brown dormant patches, panic, and then spread a layer of black dirt or topsoil right over the top of them, thinking they're feeding the grass or helping it come back to life. Please don't do this. Piling black dirt on top of living dormant grass doesn't feed it. It smothers it. It buries the crown, it traps heat against the plant, and it can actually stop that grass from ever coming out of dormancy when the weather finally cools off. So you take a lawn that would have bounced right back on its own, and you kill it trying to save it. Topsoil and top dressing have their place for leveling out low spots or when you're seeding, but that's a cooler season job, and it is never a way to revive or feed a dormant lawn. So what should you do with a brown dormant lawn in a heat wave? Almost nothing. That's the answer. Leave it alone. If you want to keep it as healthy as possible, give it just a light drink of water every week or two. About half an inch, not to green it up, just to keep that crown alive down there. Then, be patient. When the heat breaks, it comes back. Doing less is the whole strategy. Number 3, never cut your grass too short in the heat. I know it's tempting. You figure if you scalp it down low, you'll have to mow less often and buy yourself a couple extra weeks. In a heat wave, that is one of the fastest ways to fry your lawn. Here's why. The taller grass blades are what shade the soil underneath. That shade is doing a job. It keeps the ground cooler and it holds moisture in. The second you scalp the lawn down short, you rip that shade away and you expose the bare soil to direct, punishing sunlight. The ground bakes, the moisture evaporates way faster, and the heat stress skyrockets. Think of it like a forest. Imagine you went into a thick, shady woods and chopped the top off every single tree, leaving just the bare trunks and the open dirt. How do you think that soil handles a scorching hot day now compared to when it was covered in all that shade? It's night and day, and not in a good way. Your lawn works exactly the same. Those blades are the canopy protecting everything underneath. There's a bonus problem too. Bare, hot, sunlit soil is basically an invitation for weeds. Crabgrass in particular loves nothing more than exposed, warm ground to germinate in. So scalp your lawn in July, and a few weeks later, you're not just fighting heat stress, you're fighting a weed invasion you created. So here's the free fix. Raise your mower. For most cool season lawns, you want to be mowing around 3.5 to 4 inches tall in the summer. Taller grass shades its own roots, holds water, and actually grows deeper roots, which is exactly what you want going into a heat wave. And follow the 1/3 rule. Never take off more than 1/3 of the blade height in a single mow. If your grass got a little long, don't hack it all off at once. Bring it down gradually over a couple of mows. Cheap, simple, and it makes a massive difference. Quick pause here because a lot of you have been asking about this. Everything I teach on this channel, the exact watering schedule, the mowing heights, the cheap products that actually work, and the expensive ones that are a total waste, I put the whole thing together in one place. It's my complete lawn system, and it lives over on my site at backyardverdict.com. And if you'd rather just listen to it, there's an audiobook version too, so you can follow the entire plan start to finish while you're out working in the yard. No fluff, no upsells, just the full step-by-step system that lawn services charge hundreds of dollars for. The link is right in the description if you want it. All right, back to the list. Number 4, never mow in the peak heat of the day. This is the one almost everybody gets wrong because mowing feels harmless. It's not. Every time you mow, you're wounding the plant. You're cutting thousands of tiny open wounds across the entire lawn. Now do that at 2 in the afternoon when the grass is already gasping from heat stress and you're kicking it while it's down. The grass has no chance to recover, the cut tips dry out and brown, and the whole lawn takes a hit. And it's not just the cutting, it's the weight. I've driven around my neighborhood plenty of times and seen ugly tire tracks pressed right into people's lawns. Straight lines of damage from a riding mower that rolled over stressed, crispy grass in the middle of a hot day. That happens with walk-behind mowers and even just heavy foot traffic too. When turf is heat-stressed, it bruises easily and it doesn't spring back. So mow when it's cool, early morning or evening. At those times, the grass is far less stressed, and the fresh cut has hours to recover before the heat comes roaring back. And here's a detail most people completely ignore. Use a sharp blade. A dull mower blade doesn't slice the grass. It tears and shreds it, leaving a ragged, chewed-up tip. In a heat wave, that's a disaster because all those torn tips turn brown and white and lose water fast. You can literally look at a lawn the day after it was cut with a dull blade in the heat and see it looks frosted and brown across the top. That's not the heat, that's the blade. Sharpen it or swap it. It costs almost nothing and it's one of the biggest upgrades you can make. And quickly, this goes for foot traffic as well. I'm not telling you to yell at your kids for playing outside, but if you're throwing a big party out on a crispy, heat-stressed lawn in the middle of the day, just know you might see some damage from all those feet on grass that can't take the beating right now. Number 5, never spray weed killer or herbicide in extreme heat. This is the one that can brown a lawn overnight, and it's the mistake that makes people think they got a bad batch of chemical, when really they just picked the worst possible day. Here's what happens. When it's really hot, generally once you're above about 85 degrees, herbicides get more aggressive and more volatile. The heat basically supercharges the chemical. So instead of just killing the weed you aimed at, that stronger, angrier herbicide starts damaging the grass around it too. And remember, in a heat wave, your grass is already stressed to the limit, fighting just to survive. It has zero margin left to absorb a chemical hit on top of everything else. So you spray to kill a few weeds, and you end up with burned, thinned, scorched patches all through your lawn. On top of that, it usually doesn't even work as well, so you get the worst of both worlds. You stress your lawn, and the weeds shrug it off. So what do you do instead? Wait for a cooler window. Ideally, hold off until the air temp is back down under 80-85 degrees. When you do spray, do it in the cool of the evening. Let the weeds absorb it slowly overnight while it's cool and calm, when there's no harsh sun to turn that chemical against your grass. That timing alone is the difference between killing weeds and scorching your whole yard. And honestly, this ties into everything this channel is about. You don't need to nuke your lawn with the strongest, most expensive stuff on the shelf. The cheap, careful approach almost always beats the aggressive one, especially in the heat. So let's bring it all together. 5 things you should never do to your lawn in a heat wave. Number 1, don't water in the middle of the day, water early in the morning instead. Number 2, don't panic over brown grass and never smother it with black dirt. It's dormant, not dead, so leave it alone. Number 3, don't scalp it short, raise your mower and let the grass shade its own roots. Number 4, don't mow in the peak heat with a dull blade, mow cool and mow sharp. And number 5, don't spray herbicide in the heat, wait for a cooler evening, or you'll scorch the whole lawn. And if you notice a theme running through all 5 of these, it's this. In a heat wave, the best thing you can do for your lawn is usually to do less. Stop fighting it, stop drowning it, stop scalping it, stop dumping stuff on it. Water smart, mow smart, and get out of the way. Your lawn survived hot summers long before you owned it, and it knows how to get through this one too, as long as you don't accidentally kill it trying to help. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me 2 things. First, How hot does it actually get where you live in the summer? Because I'm always amazed at the range in this audience. And second, be honest, which of these 5 have you been guilty of? Don't be shy, I've done at least 2 of them myself over the years. So you're in good company. And if you want the entire step-by-step system in one place, watering, mowing, weeds, feeding, all of it, head over to backyardverdict.com and grab it, or just listen to the audiobook version while you work out in the yard. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one, because keeping a great lawn without wasting money on stuff you don't need is exactly what we do here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.